If you can't win well, just win. Just win. Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys and girls for another episode of what is the Arsenal Raw Reaction Show, our first one of the brand new season, with Arsenal winning 1-0 at Manchester United. A really important victory, and one, of course, that will see Arsenal climb on level points with those leading at the top of the table. As you can see, I am not in my usual surroundings this morning. I am here in Manchester. I stayed the night with it. Just didn't really want to have the scenario of rushing back home yesterday. So I'm quite happy that I managed to sit here and do a show and get a train home in the morning. I'm quite pleased about that. What do you mean? Oh dear, that hair. What's wrong with my hair? What's wrong with it, Claire? Come on, tell me, talk to me. What have I done wrong? It's I didn't bring my hat. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't bring my hat. I can't cover up this monstrosity. I'm so sorry. I've got a train to catch. I've got so little time to do the show, put slides together. Goodness gracious me. I've been hair shamed this morning. Oh, I'm doing my best, Claire. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But good morning to you all. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in and joining me. It will be a condensed... I'm really conscious now. I keep touching my hair. Where was I? It's going to be a condensed show this morning. We're going to kind of, condense this down. I've got to get a train, of course, as well. And I have got like this huge window in front of me looking out over Manchester today. And the lighting in here is very aggressive, clearly. So do take my apologies for the audio, for the sound, for the visuals, for the hair, and, of course, the fact that Arsenal didn't win 5-0 yesterday. But and thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, for your very kind. And shirt buttoned. I can't do... If I button this, I look like I'm going to turn up to somebody's house trying to sell something. If I do the button, I can't do that. I'm sorry. It just doesn't look right. Anyway, thanks for the shaming this morning, people. Really, really appreciate it. Let's jump into today's story. You've got to have thick skin to do these shows. Let's jump into today's slides and make the picture of me on the screen considerably smaller. I might keep it that way. A win at Old Trafford certainly was a game I didn't really expect to play out the way that it played out. I'll be very honest. I really thought this was going to be a dominant performance from Arsenal. I think Arsenal would be a lot more in control than they were. And it ended up turning into something very, very different, this game. Arsenal still in the end came out of, the fixture with the victory, which is obviously the really important, the most important thing on the day. And certainly was a relief at full time. I was in quite a state of panic, it would be fair to say. I was sitting there in the tiny seats that Old Trafford provide you in the press box in Manchester, and sweating, not just because it was warm, but because it was very, very likely that they were going to find an equaliser. Thankfully, they didn't, and Arsenal did claim a victory at a stadium that has been a real problem for Arsenal over the last however many years. In fact, Arsenal's reign and the streak at Old Trafford have been so poor over the last 20 to 25 years that Arteta's arrival really has changed that record at Old Trafford for Arsenal. And sometimes you've got to win ugly. Sometimes if you're not playing particularly well, if things aren't clicking, things aren't working, the game's not going the way you want, and you can still come out with a victory. We can talk about the shortcomings and the drawbacks and all of that. But certainly it has, for me at least, it's just a relief to get the points. And I know there's going to be ramifications. I know there's going to be times where if we play like this, we aren't going to win. But hopefully this is kind of a warning sign in many ways, and something to work on and something to improve upon as well. So, yeah, certainly very pleased with the results, but not as much with the performance. The lineup, I think, was as we expected on the most part. I mean, this is pretty much what everybody wanted, I think, other than probably the left wing. Although a lot of people yesterday, when we did our preview show, were quite frustrated that I'd not picked Martinelli. I don't know how those people were feeling at half-time about that decision to really back the idea of starting Martinelli. But it was the lineup I think most people expected. Now, can I just focus in on this image? Our audio listeners, the image that's currently on the screen right now is the lineup image from Arsenal that they post before every game. There's been all this talk about Odegaard as captain. He's been under a lot of scrutiny. He's been facing a lot of pressure. And while I'm sure the person that took the photo did a lovely job, and they have done a lovely job with this photo, but it's not the best look, Martin. I'll be honest with you. It's not the best. I'm no connoisseur of fashion by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not the best look. It's fair to say. It makes him look like he's got the longest legs in the world. Yeah, it's not the best look, and I think it kind of outed our new captain. It didn't really paint him in a great light. this image, and I kind of hope that it's not the case all season that we see these. Not a fan. But that's just me, and it's my opinion. I just thought when this got published, the press room at Man United kind of looked around at each other like, that's what they're going with. Okay, fine. It's not the best photo in the world. But yeah, the lineup I think was as expected on the day, and Arsenal, claimed a lead through Ricardo Calafiori and through a set piece. Of course it was. Set piece again, ole, ole, was what the fans were singing, of course, in the moments after the win. But yes, it is one. To be fair, Steve has absolutely ruined me here. Not the best look from Odegaard, but to be fair, he hasn't got your hair, Tom. Yep, that's very true. He has amazing hair, and I'm very jealous of it. But back to the football, quickly. Another set piece, another Declan Rice delivery, another moment where a goalkeeper kind of flaps their hands, if you like, at the ball. And ultimately, Calafiori is there in the right place at the right time, in the right moment to nod in past Bayindir and give Arsenal what would end up being the winning goal of the match. And if you had said to me in that moment that this would be the only goal that would be scored today, I would have said that you were mad, because it just wasn't playing out like a game I expected to be a 1-0 victory. But Declan Rice and Calafiori there, brilliant photo, great celebration, and a really team celebration. There is a unification about, a unified feeling about this Arsenal team, isn't there? I think that we've not really witnessed as much over the last however many years. It's been a change, a growth, an evolution, the unity in this group, the collection over Arteta's tenure. Before that, I just didn't get that same sense about the squad. But you see that in the team today, the real unified feeling and camaraderie between the players. And I think that shows in many of the celebrations that we see when Arsenal do score. But then Arsenal, of course, came under a considerable amount of pressure. And despite making some early mistakes in the game, and there was some early mistakes from David Raya, there was a point where Saliba was really screaming at Raya to come out and claim a ball, and Cunha, I think it was, on the back of Saliba, ultimately giving him a lot of pressure, and he needed the goalkeeper to support him, and he didn't. There's another moment where he kind of took a heavy touch and nearly potentially gave away a penalty. I don't think it was a penalty. But there was kind of an awful moment for Raya, and he was looking quite shaky in the opening moments, but he really did turn that around. He really changed his performance from kind of the 30th minute onwards. Fantastic save from Cunha in the first half to kind of tip the ball round the far post. Amazing reaction stop. Don't know if it was going in, but it was a really important stop as well. And then, of course, in the second half, it was shot after shot after shot after chance after chance. Great header from Mbeumo that he had to push around the post. He kept Arsenal in the lead of this game. And I think rightfully ends up getting the player of the match award. I think there are a number of players, Calafiori included, that could, of course, have got that player of the match award. But David Raya, I think, was in the end a worthy winner. I gave him an 8 out of 10 on the player ratings. And in terms of player ratings, I really feel like from Odegaard forwards, the ratings kind of went like 6-5 and below. And from Odegaard backwards, they kind of went 7 and up. That's kind of the sense I got from the game, is that, from the defensive midfield to the defence, and the goalkeeper had to have a strong game. But our forward line is really where I felt like we fell down. And I think, it wasn't Gyokeres' day. It's going to take him some time. He's not played too much. He's only played a couple of games of pre-season. He's going to have some time to adapt. We've got to have some time to adapt to him. And it wasn't his best game, and he didn't particularly do loads with the ball when he had the ball at his feet, and he made a few mistakes. And obviously, he still he's still in a moment of transition and adaptation and integration. But the main part of this is, for me, that he just didn't really get the service. He didn't get the service on the day. it didn't change too much when Havertz came. I think Havertz was slightly better than Gyokeres when he came off the bench, but I don't think it was drastically different. The service still for the centre forward wasn't great. I think Havertz did a better job of holding the ball up in those final thirds when he received it. But I think Gyokeres obviously still a little bit rusty, a little bit not necessarily match fit right now. And I think he still needs to adapt and change and get better. And we know that's going to come with time. We know that's going to improve. We know that's going to be there. And I loved how rattled the Man United fans were about just the presence of Gyokeres. They gave him absolute pelters throughout the whole game. I don't really know why. Like, I get that they were linked with him, but at no point did he ever show any kind of indication that he wanted to come to United at all. I don't know really why he was booed. I know he was linked with them, but is Sesko going to get booed when he comes to us? I can't hope not, in a way. It's not his fault that he didn't come to Arsenal. It's Leipzig's fault he didn't come to Arsenal. They asked for an absolutely silly price tag. So, yeah, look, the attack was not great on the day. And we're going to come to some of the attacks and the issues around that in a little bit. In fact, very shortly, because I want to talk briefly about this, man. Martin Zubimendi, when I watched the game, and I have to, I'll give you a little bit of context here around a match day experience for me and what it's like. My jobs on a match day are I'm doing the live blog, I'm doing the minute-by-minute text commentary, so I'm typing everything that I see that's going on. You have to type that in, you have to add the photos, change the headlines, add the pictures in, so on and so forth. While I'm doing that, I'm setting up a press conference live blog for the end of the match, and I'm also writing up the player rating. So I'm doing 3 articles as the game is going on. That's my responsibilities in the game. So it's quite difficult when to watch the whole game. It can, and you do miss things. And so as a result, I often find myself in the evenings after games, if I've got the time, especially in away games when I'm usually in a hotel or something like that, watching back a lot of the clips, a lot of the games, a lot of the individual performances. There's quite a lot of compilations online which help you kind of do that. And I thought that Zubimendi was okay when I watched the game in the stadium. And when you're in the stadium as well, you don't have the benefit of kind of the television view as well, which can give you a lot better insight. And what I saw of Zubimendi, and I think James McNicholas in the press lounge after said, "What do you think of Martinelli?" What do you think of Zubimendi? And I was like, "It was fine. It was okay. Nothing special." And then I watched back the game, and then I watched back his performance. This man is a turnover machine. I have not seen a performance that has seen so many balls turned over, so many tackles, so many smart passes over the possession has been recovered, so many attacks set up as I saw from Zubimendi yesterday. It was an incredible performance that I massively underrated. I think I gave him a 7. He was comfortably at 8 easily in the game. And he was up there with the performances of Raya and Gabriel and Saliba on the day. He was excellent. He was our best midfielder in the match. He was stunningly good. And I really didn't appreciate his performance. And I think that some people also kind of, he wasn't perfect. There's a few misplaced passes, but not loads. He dealt with the crosses well. He cleared the ball well. He was heading in the box defensively as well. And he misplaced a few passes. And I saw someone reply to a tweet I put out about this yesterday saying he misplaced 5 passes. And the reason that he misplaced 5 passes is because the guy tries to make things happen. He tries to make things happen from those defensive areas. He's trying to play a risky ball. He's trying to get us up the field. He's trying to get us forwards. And sometimes those passes aren't going to come off. But the majority of the time, he was excellent in the game. And he was responsible for so many of the turnovers, which comes on to my next point. I was watching the game, and I'm going to write an article about this a little bit later on. It will be out around lunchtime using all of these images that you can see on the screen now. Arsenal created 11 turnovers in the game. They created 11 moments. I quoted the video where I've taken these screenshots from on my X page if you want to go and read or watch the whole kind of compilation of all of the clips. But all 11 of these turnovers ended in no clear-cut opportunity being created. There was overhit passes by Odegaard. There was bad runs being made by Saka, Gyokeres, and Martinelli. There was good runs being made by them and then not being found. There was clipped passes that went completely out of play from Martinelli. There was times where players would just wait too long and not make the right pass. There was a great moment in the second half where Rice ran beyond Havertz and Havertz just didn't play the ball through to him. There was moments where Havertz in the second half kind of had the ball at his feet and just allowed players to catch up to him instead of playing a pass. There was times where Saka just couldn't beat his man. There was times where Martinelli just ran down a blind alley and didn't do anything with it. There was times where Odegaard just kept the ball on too long and was dispossessed and was really wasteful. Every element of the 4, 5, 6, Madueke involved as well, players that we had opportunities to create chances in, ultimately failed at generating a high quality chance from a turnover, which, if you're wondering, as Daryl, is what a turnover is, the moment where we take the ball from the opposition, tackle them, dispossess them, and go on the counter attack. The turnover of possession. Moments where we nick the ball from United in our own half and turn over the play and hit them on the counter. We had overloads of 2-on-2s and 3-on-2s and 3-on-3s and 4-on-3s and 4-on-4s and 2-on-1s and 2-on-2s. There were loads of different scenarios where we were even or outnumbering Man United's defenders, and we didn't create a single serious chance. The best chance that we did create was right towards the end where Saka played the ball into the box of Madueke. It was just behind him. It was a poor touch. And then, of course, the ball kind of went. And the other one where Gyokeres kind of crossed for Martinelli, who tried an acrobatic effort when he probably should have tried to bring the ball down and made an absolute complete mess of it. There are other opportunities where we had 3-on-2 situations where Odegaard just kind of played a through ball to absolutely nobody. There was another great opportunity where Martinelli just passed the ball out of play when he could have played a really easy pass to Odegaard on his left or played Saka through on his right. Gyokeres would make so many good runs that just weren't found. It's like we're allergic to playing the ball early. There was a few times where he did it and it nearly set up opportunities for us. But there was so many times that we just kept wasting chance after chance after chance. And these are the moments last season that made Liverpool champions. These are the moments where Liverpool with Salah and with Diaz and with Gakpo and with Nunez and with Elliott, and Szoboszlai, that would turn these turnovers that they got into big chances. Now, if Arsenal score just one or two of these chances, I think we're talking about the game in a completely different context. But we didn't create anything really meaningful from any of these opportunities. And I say I'm going to do a deep breakdown of all of these 11 moments in an article a little bit later on around lunchtime. So look out for that. But these are the points that Arsenal need to be better. These are the moments where Arsenal need to change. These are the times that will separate Arsenal from becoming champions and a trophy winner and not. And if we cannot turn these moments into more clinical opportunities, and I think it will come with time, and I know I'm sounding quite harsh in the first game of the season in a game that we won, but this is the reality. This is the storm in the teacup, if you like, because if we don't get this right, we're going to regret it. And every single time we had one of these moments, I looked down to the touchline and Arteta was doing this, and he was doing this, and he was doing this, and he was getting visibly frustrated. If you watch back the press conference, I asked him about these moments. You can see him laugh because clearly he knows that what exactly I was talking about. I said to him, there were moments in the game where you were in attack and the ball either went away or the right pass wasn't made. And I can see you on the touchline getting frustrated. What needs to change in those moments where the right decision is made and those attacks turn into big chances? And he said, well, as you see, I think there were 7 or 8, turns out it was 11, situations when the ball is completely open to play through and we are on and we are attacking the keeper. And we give the ball away and then it becomes a basketball game. And I got a basketball game against a team that is extremely, extremely good at finishing actions with the quality that they have. That's a very difficult thing to do. That's why I talk about the reaction to that, because if you don't react in relation to that quick enough, sharp enough, you're in big trouble. Now, I don't necessarily answer the question, and I'll probably put it to him again ahead of the Leeds game, to be honest, because I kind of really want to focus in on this idea of what needs to change to turn these moments into big chances. I think he was kind of focusing in on the positive that when the ball did turn over and United came back at us, we were in a position where we defended well. And Saliba was good, Gabriel was good, Calafiori was good, White was good, Timber was good when he came on. We defended those situations. Rice and Zubimendi were important in those moments to defend. But how do we turn these? What needs to change from a coaching standpoint, from a managerial standpoint, to change these moments where we have 11 turnovers that turn into nothing? How do those moments change? Now, you can look at this 2 ways. You can look at it one way and you can say, this isn't good enough. And this shows you the problems. We need a new signing. We need another left winger. And that's fine. And I don't blame people for having that opinion. You can have that opinion. But I prefer, and shock horror, I prefer to look at it more in the optimistic sense. This for me is a good thing. This is good. These moments here are good. If these weren't happening and we were creating nothing, I would be very, very concerned. But the fact that we are creating these moments and effectively turning over the opposition at their own ground and turning into attacking moments, this is a good thing. This is potential. This is the coiled spring that is Arsenal Football Club right now. And all that needs to happen is one change. And that one change is the right decision being made. And consistently at the moment, we are not making the right decision. And we've not just done it here. It's not just in this game. It's been happening for years. And this is why this season is so important, because it's this season where this needs to change. Because if this doesn't change, and if this doesn't improve, and if we don't become more efficient as a club, we will stay in this purgatorial state of finishing second. We will stay in this purgatorial state of being semi-finalists. And if these moments don't more consistently turn into big chances with a centre forward in Gyokeres who can batter a back of a net. I was watching the drills they did before the game. When you get Gyokeres in a position where he can have a chance to shoot, he is ruthless, clinical. I've never seen an Arsenal striker have the ability that he has for so many years to smash a ball past a keeper ruthlessly. But we didn't get him into a opportunity to do that yesterday, despite having upwards of 8 chances to do such a thing. We need to pass earlier. We need to pass more simply. We need to stop overthinking it. We need to stop holding onto the ball for too long. We need to be more ruthless, more efficient, more clinical, and we need to be smarter. And look, I'm not a coach. I'm a fan. I'm a journalist. I watch the games. I say what I see, and that's it. If I can see this, I know the coaching staff can see this. I know that these moments are going to be visible to them. And I have trust that they're going to recognise these moments. I mean, I asked Arteta about it, so I'm hoping that he does. This, for me, is the key part that needs to change. And this is what turns Arsenal from second place into title winners. This is, for me, the key bit. Defensive mistakes, sure. Individual bits of brilliance, sure. A new left winger, sure. But for me, it's this. This is what turns Arsenal into title winners. These moments becoming goals, or at the minimum, big chances. And, I just hope and pray that will happen. But it's on this man. It's on Mikel Arteta to efficiently turn these moments for us into goals. And we're going to have to wait and see if he is capable of doing such a thing. Well, let's go to part 2 for a quick Q&A, because I've got to go catch a train very soon, right after this. Right, this is... Oh, no. I'm back on the screen again. Right, let's jump into the chat box quickly and get this over with before Claire comes back and insults my hair. Let's go to the chat box, shall we, and tackle some of these questions. I think I spotted a wild Clive in the chat box. I did. It's a great thing. Well said. We just need to pass earlier. Keep it simple. The picture changes as you made the ball move. We hung on to it a bit too long. And you're right. Game 1 of 60. Enjoy this. Old Trafford is not easy. It's not. But it would be a lot easier if we turn some of those chances into big moments and we turn some of those chances into goals, and we wouldn't be so sweaty at full time. It's fair to say. Not to be said, I think the right change should be for the attitude. Arsenal need to grab a champion's mentality. I believe that they are completely in charge and are thirsty for goals and wins every time. Shawnita says, can we just put Martinelli at left back and put Calafiori on the left wing instead? Chris says, Dalman needs to be on the bench. Do not care how old he is. Already our most talented player. He was there, just wasn't in the matchday squad. It's difficult, isn't it? It's like, who are you going to drop? Trossard? Madueke, Winery, Havertz. We have 4 attacking players on the bench yesterday, and 4 midfield or defensive players, not including Marino. So, and a goalkeeper. So, who do you drop for Dalman? I absolutely empathise with you. You know, dropping someone to get Dalman in there. I wrote a piece about it. I would happily have seen it happen, but who? Trossard? And now you want to sign another left winger? You want to sign another player and still get Dalman on the bench? How are we going to do that? How do we fit all these players in the team? I don't know, is the honest answer. Luke says, and thank you so much for the kind donation. Tom's new hair or Taya's new hair? Who's Taya? Am I what? Someone please explain. Singapore Gooner, thank you so much for becoming a brand new member today. Really appreciate your kind support. And speaking of kind support, Vlad has been a member now for 30 months on the channel. It says, long time no see. Cheers, my guys. We'll get it this year. I hope you're right, my friend. I really, really, really hope you're right, my friend. Oh, Raya's new hair. Yeah, I mean, it's like slick forward, isn't it? I don't know. He's still got better hair than me. Vacan says, did you notice that in most of these turnovers, our attackers are running in straight lines instead of moving around? Yes, I did. There was the particular chance where Erdegaard's running straight through and Gyokeres and Martinelli it wasn't Gyokeres. He'd gone back to defend. It was Saka and Martinelli were just running in the straight. It's like either one. You need to move across. I'd quite like to see them kind of cross paths at times and switch to kind of confuse the defenders. It was so linear. There was nothing kind of, what's the opposite of linear? Non-linear. It wasn't non-linear enough. You know, there was just not enough movement in the forward line. So yeah, that was a concern, definitely. K9 says, these issues you mentioned have been in the problem for seasons. It's why I've said that we didn't need a number 9 as much as everyone said. More importantly, the players we have being more efficient and effective. Oh, we do need a number 9. Because when we get those moments, and we do create those moments, we're not clinical enough, K9. And Gyokeres is going to change that for us. So I agree and disagree with you. I disagree with you about the centre forward. We absolutely need a number 9, 100%. Havertz is not clinical enough. I love Havertz. I think he's a great player. I think he's underrated, and I think people talk about him too harshly. But we absolutely needed a Gyokeres this year. But we need to be better in those other areas too. I mean, this is why so much negativity. I don't think I've been negative. I think I've looked at the issues that we had yesterday, and we look at them as positives. We look at them as the potential to turn that into something different. And speaking of turning things into something different, I know I've not given a shout out at the moment to the like situation. So please, if you haven't dropped a like on the video, please do. We have a mission still. 24-hour buffer we put on these. There's nearly 2,000 of you watching this morning. Thank you so much. Please drop a like. If all of you were to drop a like right this very second, we would have achieved our goal for the day. Takes you just 1 second to like the video, and that's it. But yesterday's show, we're on 927. We got some work to do. Homework. Make sure if you haven't done so, go back and like yesterday's video as well. We're so close to keeping this 1K every day up for the whole of the summer, but we need your help to do it. So please do go and help it. Let's not slack. Let's not lay it off. Let's keep it going. Shams says, Calafiori is never as dangerous as Pablo Maldini. Everyone, football legend was afraid of Maldini. Here at Arsenal, only the fans are afraid of Calafiori, afraid he will get injured again. It seems a bit off to be talking about Maldini. I mean, if we're talking about Calafiori in a Maldini sense, anyway, in any context, he must be doing something right. Jack says, hi, Tom. I'm in the UK this week for a wedding. I've been in London for the past 3 days. I managed to get to a pub and watch the glorious 1-0 result yesterday. So happy I can finally watch live. Thanks, Jack, and I hope you have an amazing time in the UK. Enjoy yourself. Nick says, do you think they're purposefully left the pitch dry to make it harder to get our passing game together? They were playing a lot of long balls. I mean, the clubs do sit up in those types of ways against Arsenal, but you know, I'm curious how we go against Leeds on, is it another Sunday kickoff or is it Saturday next weekend? I'm curious how that game goes on against Leeds because it is Sunday. It's no, it's not Sunday, is it? It's 5:30 kickoff on a Saturday. But I'm curious how that game goes and how we kind of look at in our own ground in the Premier League context with everybody fit again. That's what I'm curious about next week. And says Tom, gel, mousse, or wax? I don't know what it is. It is clearly not very good. This is free advertisement. American Crew. Clay. It's clay is what it is. But thank you, Aidan, so much for asking. Spearmint says, "'Twas one game." It was indeed one game, but there was a lot of things that we saw in this one game that have kind of been synonymous with a lot of other games that we've also seen with Arsenal as well. So that's worth pointing out too. Let's go to Singapore Gooner again. Says, Tom, do you get the sense whether any sale is getting close? I mean, I hope so. We hope that things are getting better. We hope that things are improving. We hope that things are going to be moving faster and that we see some movement soon, but nothing yet. Isaac says, I've just subscribed because you have made the most sense today of that game. I never imagined the Arsenal fan base could be this toxic. You have made the best view yet. Thank you. This is it. Look, I often get accused of always trying to turn something into a positive. And there was a lot of negatives yesterday. I think in the same show, I've had someone say, why is this such a negative show? It's funny, isn't it? We're human. Everyone's different. You know, you can watch the same video. Two people can watch the same thing. One person can say, great positive view. Another person can say, this is too negative. That's just how humanity is. But we kind of, at this point of the season, you've won at Old Trafford, which is something that we don't often do. You've won the first game of the season in a context where we didn't play particularly well, in a ground that we've always struggled in. But still, even though we didn't play amazing, we created a lot of opportunities that we just didn't turn into the chances we had to turn them into. And that sucks, but that is just the reality of what we found ourselves in yesterday. But it shows you the potentials there. If we were under the cosh all game, didn't create anything, weren't doing anything, were just in our own half all of those 90 minutes, lost the game or drew the game, the mood would be very different. But we didn't. We won the game. We were defensively solid, even though in pre-season we were looking a little bit suspect. So that kind of eases those nerves. And we created a lot of turnovers, a lot of moments where we could say, yeah, there's something here to build on. There's something here that could turn into something better. And I hope that that's what we do see going forwards more so. Dan's been a member now on the channel for 35 months. Thank you, Dan, for your kind. And I hope the vegan cooking is still going well, my friends. I hope it's going good. Julius says, who was the ref? I mean, if you heard the Arsenal fans, you'll know it was Simon Hooper. Is who it was. Of course, it was Simon Hooper because that's all the Arsenal fans. It's amazing how they know his full name. I'm curious to see how organised that was, to be fair, because every Arsenal fan seems to know exactly who the referee's name was. Let's scroll a little bit more. Bazza says, a good win with a few things to work on. Our bench and depth looks so much better. I'm sure we'll improve in the areas that you highlighted. Once we learn how to provide for Gyokeres, he will cook. Jaro says, not a question, but first time catching the show live from Washington, D.C. Great show. Arteta's lawyer. Indeed, thank you, mate. Treyab says, it just felt weird to see how bad they were last year and see how much pressure their signings made. Just felt like one team had improved and the other hadn't. I mean, I don't agree with that. I mean, defensively, we were much better. And those chances that we were turning over, we weren't as effective at the turnovers as we were in this game as like compared to last season. So it's one game. And I think our signing, Zubimendi in particular, Zubimendi was so good. And I said to you that I think he'll upgrade from what Thomas Partey did for us previously. I said that I think he would take us up a level. And I think he's already starting to show he is going to upgrade upon what Thomas Partey provided us before. Zubimendi is going to take Arsenal to that next step. Just before I go, there's been a few Man United fans saying that they thought that Saliba had fouled Cunha in the box. I don't think it's a penalty. I think, if anything, Cunha goes into Saliba more than Saliba goes into Cunha. Now, I didn't really appreciate the refereeing yesterday at all, to be honest. I didn't think it was great, and I thought there was a real inconsistency about how the game was officiated, as usual. But call me biased, I didn't think it was a penalty. I think Saliba is the one that gets the player going into him. He plants his left foot. Cunha then goes into him, and it looks like he's fouling Cunha, but it's not. It's Cunha going into Saliba. Saliba has a right to go for the ball. He doesn't get the ball, but he doesn't get the player. Cunha goes into Saliba, not the other way around. So I don't think that was a penalty. And I feel I'm pretty honest about when it comes to kind of these things. If I think it was a penalty, I'll tell you it's a penalty. If it's not, it's not. You know, I thought the Liverpool handball, I think Senesi should have been sent off for his handball. You know, I tried to be as grounded and as unbiased as I can be. But that brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate your time. Over 2,000 of you at many points during this show from a hotel in Manchester with no recording equipment other than a laptop. That's it. So I hope you appreciated the episode. I'll be doing one to you tomorrow with, of course, all the usual setup, the microphones, the studio, the good audio quality, all of that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate your time. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Look out for my piece at midday around those 11 turnover chances in more detail and what needs to change and how those moments can turn Arsenal into title winners. Have a look for that. And of course, I'll be with you. There's lots of shows you'll be able to check out. I think Harry did a show after the game yesterday. You can watch that. I think Charles did a show yesterday. You can go watch that. I'm sure Sophie's got a show planned as well. And loads of other people too you should go and check out. Plenty of Arsenal content out there to go and enjoy. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe. Stay well. Have a fantastic start to your week. Stay happy and respectful. And as always, up the Arsenal. Is it really that bad?